7's qualifying event. It's the top seeds here, Japan against Georgia. And there are the Georgians ready to run out here onto the Sokompo Stadium. Their captain Saba Shubetiza leads them out. Dai Ozawa leads out Japan alongside Kameli Soejima. Watch out for him, the big number 5. Seru Sakai, Naikambula, Goya, and Siosifa Lisala in this Japanese lineup. For Georgia, Spandarashvili, Zenaladze Apsiauri will be the power men up front. Your referee for this one, from New Zealand, James Dolman. Alongside me, former England 7's captain Rob Vickerman. Rob, Japan have a distinguished history in this competition, been coming to Hong Kong since 1976, and of course won this qualifying event back in 2014.
They did indeed. So emotional that performance was. Many of them returning to see if they can go well again, and some familiar faces. 107 series events between this Japanese team, which really does give them an advantage in this tournament significantly against a Georgian team vastly inexperienced in the game of 7's, but we know from their under-20s campaign just how strong some of these backs are, and certainly Jela Abrazadze, one of those graduates from that 20s team.
Yep, Japan won the Asia Rugby 7's tournament last year. Beat Hong Kong in the final of that event. We are underway. Katsuyuki Sakai with the kickoff, and there's been a collision in the air. It's resulted in a penalty to Georgia.
Showing their intent early. The Georgians taking their time. They don't want to keep the pace up. They go to their set piece. Probably not a shock to many that watch Georgian rugby worldwide that they like their set piece, but there, man, targeting the ball. If you're not seen to be competing for the ball, you're going to be penalised. However, there, I think it's slightly unfortunate against the captain Ozawa. He was clearly looking at the ball.
Japan will be at the Rugby World Cup of 7's in San Francisco in July. Finished 4th at the Rio Olympic Games back in 2016. And here they are trying to re-qualify for the World Rugby HSBC 7 Series. Georgia decide to kick to send Japan back deep into their own territory. That's Naikambula with the offload, getting back for Japan. Sakai gives it back to Naikambula, ball in one hand, sees a gap, decides to stop, go and offloads over the top. Basketball style, that's clever from Johnny Naikambula. Here's Siosifa Lisala. Runs into contact. Japan here will hold on a possession. Here's Kameli Soejima. Good work at the breakdown there from the Georgians.
Could always imagine that be the case. We're looking on now, the coach, Damon Karuna, vastly experienced 7's campaigner, won out here himself. Rupert for New Zealand is someone that knows that this Georgian are going to bring a real intensity around the breakdown. They're going to have to be patient in their attack, make sure Soejima gets the ball as much as possible out wide, and certainly in Sakai, number 7, the man that pulls the strings in the middle. But the Georgians now able to compete. They've got a really interesting kicking game and like to try things in a slightly different way.
Yeah, a bit of the Argentina about this Georgian team, the way they try and kick for territory. Gogolashvili at scrum half. Chance over here on the near side, good defence coming in from Japan. Georgians showing they know how to play keep ball. Too little chip through the line. There's that kick you're talking about. Rob Vickerman doesn't quite come off. It's Dai Ozawa, the captain. Ozawa will go all the way onto the loose pill like a flash. Dies under the sticks.
Typifying the kicking game in the game of 7's. Need to be seen to recover the ball back, otherwise Ozawa gets hold of it. Enterprising things, never want to criticise kicking in behind. The space is wide open, no sweeper for Japan. Detached from the line, so not a bad idea. Needed to go further. Ozawa managed to fall on it, get it in the way, and this is the net outcome. The captain gets to skip through 60 yards. Sokompo, almost reminiscent of the times they were flying high here in the qualifiers years gone by.
Conversion successful from right in front, so Japan with the early lead by 7 points to 0. There's Dai Ozawa, 28 years old. plays his rugby for the Toyota Verblitz club. It's a wing in the 15-a-side game. He showed all his pace there. Sakai gets us underway once more, sends it high. That's a really good restart, and Naikambula is there first for Japan. Looking for their second try here. There's the offload from Lisala. Naikambula, we've seen that already, the one-hander over the top. Here's Ozawa, the captain again. Japan really with the bit between their teeth here, looking for their second try in this Pool E qualifier. Lisala tries to step through, he gets the offload away. You can see how many Georgian defenders Japan are sucking in here with all these offloads. Chance of an overlap on the far side. They send it across to Seru. Jose Seru steps inside. See you later. Seru's got their second.
There's a big man, but he's got some fast feet out wide. Impressive play, Japan shifting the ball across. This is what happens when defence overchase. You can see the bridge ball over the top. Wonderful timing from Seru. And the two Georgian defenders on the inside having a discussion, but Apsiusuri there, just no chance to stop that big inside jump. Two of them running past the defender. It is all too easy for the attack. Good patience from the Japanese.
Jose Oyikal Seru plays his rugby for the Hokkaido Barbarians. He's 26 years old. Big and he's fast. Sakai's restarts have been first class so far. That one goes a little bit longer, so time for Georgia to bring that one down, but they can't do it. They had probably a bit more time than they thought they had there, and that's handing possession straight back to Japan. That's what Georgia can ill afford to do.
We'll get a chance now to see the Japanese and their enterprising style. Certainly Damon Karuna, the coach, vast experience, as we mentioned, with New Zealand, knows what strike plays work, and they've got some great playmakers in the middle. Sakai, he's accrued over 590 points for this Japanese team on the series, so he'll know what to do.
Here comes Japan again, asking plenty of questions of this Georgian defence. Is Lisala. Lisala shakes off one defender, gives it back inside to Katsuyuki Sakai, and that's 3 tries for Japan. And they are well on the way here.
Well, as you mentioned, Sakai, vastly experienced. And that's where it really shows. You pass as a playmaker, but you stay in support. The number 7 in shot there, ships it on one. Lisala does all that damage, but that inside ball is tracked it all the way. That's where playmakers also important on the inside.
Sakai with the applause, and why not? Great support play. Zal Lejava, the Georgian head coach, looks on. Food for thought for him.
It was very philosophical look there, wasn't it? Intriguing.
Very pensive. Well, you're 21-0 down. It's almost half-time. I guess you've got to try and give your team something at half-time about how they can find a way back here. Japan kicked deep this time with a healthy 3 converted try lead here. Going route 1 that time is Spandarashvili. Plays for the Army Rugby Club in Tbilisi. More good, abrasive, powerful running here from the Jordan wing contingent. As you can see, the clock is down to 0. This is the final play of the first half of this Pool E qualifying match at the Hong Kong 7. Stepping through the line there was Gogolashvili. Georgia just managed to hold on to possession. A lot of these players have appeared for the Georgian under-20s team. You might have seen them last year. They hosted the World Rugby Under-20 Championship.
And what an event it was, Rupert. Incredible to see the Georgian support. Their home team absolutely rose to it. And it wasn't just about their set piece, albeit it was clearly a dominant part of their game, giving Aprazadze opportunity from the halfway line, but it was also this type of enterprising play. Their backs getting amongst it, and there we can see the breakdown in discretion. Always going to be in the way there, Seru.
So these days, you get the penalty, kick the touch, you will get the line out, so we will play on here. So a chance for Georgia, their first foray with possession into Japanese territory. What do you want to see that from them here, Rob? They went the chip through the line before, didn't come off with them, resulted in a try against them at the other end.
Well, who knows, it could be driving more than the Runel there, Rupert, but they've got a really good kicking game. Train against them, they like to try different tactics.
Well, they've won the line out. That's first job done. So we're already 2 minutes into extra minutes here in this first half. Real taxing extra time on these players. They have to wait for their breather. Here come Georgia now. They got one to beat Lisala, but he's up to the defensive responsibility. Look at Sakai going in for the turnover. Might have got it, but the advantage was already coming.
Lifting. The lifting tackle, referee clearly saying there. Once again, the Georgians taking their time. This is where it is really fragmented. You have an opportunity to kick, but they wanted to keep hold, and here it is. It seemed to be a bit of a dip tackle. They actually brought him down reasonably safely. That's the most important part there, the welfare of the players. They brought him down controlled manner.
Yeah, you lift the legs past the 90 these days, you're looking at a penalty minimum. Cut out pass, flicked on. Japanese defence jumping out of the line. Gogalashvili once more. Sparandashvili with the clear out. Ball goes to ground. Georgia must score now, you feel, if they're going to have a chance in this Pool E match. And they're almost through, looking for the offload. There it is, they're almost there, Georgia. 10 metres out, there's another one. Catch and pass, and they're in. Decides to hold on, reaching out. They can't get there. Great defence, Japan. Looks like we got a penalty here against Japan, and could be more. It will be. You heard the referee, James Tolman. Repeated infringements. Japan down to 6. Here comes Georgia. They'll go quickly. They've got a man over here. Can they fix up this Japanese defence and get themselves back into this game? They've got another advantage, Georgia. Penalties racking up against Japan. They go quickly. They've already left one try out there. They won't this time. They've got their 5-pointer, and you've got to say they deserved it. They huffed and puffed, and they got themselves in good position, and Upsaudi has the try for Georgia.
Well, it's commendable defence, first of all. The diminutive playmaker, we see Sakai do so much with the ball, but that's him without it. Heroic defence on the try line, recycled ball after the penalty, quick tap, offload game, again kicking on for Georgia. And as you always expect from these Eastern European teams, first and foremost, they're going to try and run over you. Secondly, they love to celebrate a score. Wonderful to see there, Apsisuri showing how much it means.
Conversion just bounces off the upright. That would have been useful. An exhausting first half here in Pool E. Japan have the lead, 21 points to 5.
Just seen Doug on the pitch with opponent marker, just going to colour him in for us.
Inside the Georgian huddle here at the Hong Kong Sevens. This is the men's qualifying event. Win this tournament and you're full time on the World Series. Japan leading 21 points to 5. We had an exhausting opening 7 minutes, but it was more like 12 minutes. 4.5 minutes long it went. Can't finish on a penalty, and Georgia finally got their try. They're back in it. Gogaladze restarts play here. Japan with 3 tries in the first half to Seru, Ozawa and Sakai. Georgia responded through Nico Apsialdi, and the Georgian defence has forced an error from Japan here. Of course, Japan still playing with 6 men with a player in the sin bin.
Exhausting first half, as you mentioned. 4.5 minutes extra, and that's why you're seeing players bent over in shot. Really aggressive attack, but the ball's getting wet. You can see a little bit of rain coming down. It adjusts that grip. You've got to make sure the ball stays nice and tight. If not, those errors can creep in.
As you can see, conditions have really dulled out here at the SoCon Post Stadium. We're expecting a bit of rain here today. Sometimes get that this time of year, and if anything, those pictures are making it a lot brighter than it is. It really is grey, and the rain's coming, and atmospheric stuff here at the Hong Kong 7's. Sakai puts it to the floor. Japan still with just 6 out there, with a Western roll throw to the floor there, but here they come, the Japanese. They're away. They've already got 3 tries in the match, looking for their 4th. Lilandamu with the runaway, but Georgia have come up with the turnover at the breakdown.
And it was Sakai with the indiscretion. Breakdown's all important, but this is the break. The big get off me.
Okay, time on, come back on.
Nakamura showing that Fijian strength we often see in white this time. It's in the Japanese shirt. Get the ball in behind, and this is where their attack really comes to life.
Okay.
Again, the big fen, get those long arms, levers out the way, pushing the defenders off. But sadly, Sakai just finished off, going off his feet. Referee's really strict on that. If you don't keep your balance in the breakdown, you will be penalised.
Georgia with a really good touch finder deep into Japanese territory. Look at that, penalties conceded. Japan self-inflicting some wounds here.
And it's come through some brutal defence. This Japanese team are throwing everything they have got into this Georgian outfit, and they may be giving penalties away, but that scoreline in the top left, all important.
Gogalashvili throws to the line out. Well brought down. Bursting through once again. Asking questions of this Japanese defence. That's the short ball, but it's gone forward here. Japan on the counter-attack. Goya with the runaway, back to Naikumbula. Tries to get the left hand off going. Just manages to keep it in field. That's really clever. Oh, so is that. Offload out the back there from Yasui. Lilandamu with the offload. Here's Sakai. Sakai's through. He's got the sweeper to beat. Can't quite get away from him. Lilandamu in support. Good defence from Georgia. And they've won it back at the breakdown. They're away, looking for their 2nd try. This will really set this Pool E game alight. Look at the expression on his face. Every sinew, every muscle being worked there from Nico Apsialdi. His 2nd try. And Georgia are right back in this.
And he has got to credit his fellow forward for grafting at the breakdown. Incredible work from both the big men. Dinaladze and Apsazori gets the benefit, getting the ball there. And look at him chewing the air down. It's so difficult on this pitch to get those knees up. Coach absolutely applauding that, and rightly so. Route 1 from the Georgians, well and truly. Breakdown, mess up, leads to the score.
So the referee's waved off the conversion. They've gone over the 30-second limit. You can see there's a clock right there in the corner in the dead ball area. The refs are hot on this today. It's about the 4th or 5th time we've seen that. If you don't kick that conversion within 30 seconds, you give up the right to get the extra 2.
And what it does do is mean the try scorers have to get well versed in taking conversions, because if you just run 70 metres, don't expect to see people next to you.
21-10, 11 points the difference. 2.5 minutes left. Japan looked ever so comfortable at 21-0 up, but Georgia have fought their way back into this one, making the former qualifier winners here in Japan work for everything. And look at that, another error from Japan. It's Josefa Lilandamu.
Referee just calling time off the replacements are made. This Georgian team we mentioned, not that experienced in the game of sevens. That's where you need to use your subs really wisely. The breathers they've been taking throughout the game, trying to slow it down, going to now benefit these big men, and they are very big men. Just getting a bit more energy back in their systems.
Of course, we've seen Georgia, 15-a-side team, do great things in Europe. They've won 10 of the last 12 second-tier Six Nations. A lot of people calling for them to give them a chance at the top-tier Six Nations, and their 7-a-side team look pretty handy as well. Here they go, looking for their third try. But that's, fortunately for Japan, fallen into the hands of Yasui. There's a knock-on from Georgia, so Japan can set the scrum, and perhaps a bit of relief on the face of Damien Karuna there.
These crucial minutes now. Turnover ball, really important. Almost loitering in behind, beaten by that first man.
Okay, crouch.
We saw there Yasui, he was just trying to get back on side, ended up with the ball.
And there it is. The rain has arrived. It was threatening. And that's going to have an influence. And look at it, really has. But just as you think Georgia are running away with it, they've been done for offside here. So that is a let-off for Japan.
And it's a really rare scene penalty against this Georgian team. The referee declaring they were not back five from the scrum. People often forget it used to be back foot, not nowadays. You've got to be back five from where the ball has been played in the scrum, and referee pretty sharp on that one.
Well, I suppose we just want consistency from referees, don't we? So if they're hot on that all weekend, then fine. But perhaps the Georgians were caught out a little bit there, because that is a part of the game where there is a bit of poetic license, shall we say, from officials. Not on that occasion.
Come on.
James Dolman, hot on that rule.
Come on.
Japan with the line out. Kazuhiro Goya will feed this. It's not straight, but it's been let go. Clearly not straight, that line out. Japan decide to kick. And running onto this here for Japan is Lisala. It's popped up just when he wanted to. And as the rain comes down here at Sokompo, Japan can walk back safely in the knowledge that they've wrapped this one up.
With such the skill set of the man out wide with the wheels. Previously, the top performer of the DHL Impact Play on when they were on the series, and that's why his line break's phenomenal. Albeit a couple of harsh decisions against the Georgians, Lisala is not waiting about. He is on that wheel, and he is flying down that right-hand side.
Conversion attempts from out wide doesn't make a difference. Japan have done enough. Georgia really showed they're up for the fight here in Hong Kong.